Well, thanks guys for joining me. So, we're here to talk about exploring the Lord of the Rings, which is, one of the newer programs here at Mythgard.
I found something.
Huh?
I think I found my webcam, but it's not showing us a picture.
Oh dear. Oh yeah.
That's impolite of it.
Oh yeah, in theory. Oh wait, and Brandy, you just muted yourself again.
I'm trying. I was telling my computer to turn on some background lights.
Oh, okay, I see.
Like Star Trek style. It's how you talk to it now.
I see. Right. Does it speak in Gene Roddenberry's wife's voice?
It does not. It does the Amazon Alexa voice. But
okay.
Maybe someday.
Okay.
Maybe someday we can have Major Baird's voice.
Yeah, that's I kind of insist that my computer should, if my computer is going to talk to me, I really want it to talk to me in her voice.
Well, I heard you. The ring lit up, and now it's confused.
Oh, did it? Okay, I see. Yeah. So, so Druid's Fire. Sorry, the webcam isn't working there, but we'll see what we can do. So anyway, exploring the Lord of the Rings. This was kind of, oh, there it is! Hooray! Okay. Excellent. We have all three together here.
Technically, you're also on my screen right there, Corey.
Nice. Oh, right. Yes, the banner there. Cool.
The banner of doom.
Nice. Excellent. Very good. So exploring the Lord of the Rings came up, it's sort of it started initially as me wanting to do something more within Lotro. So, I'd been doing Lotro stuff and streaming and doing, various things here and there, but I wanted to do something a little bit more sustained. I wanted to do a more, slightly more in-depth book discussion was my initial concept there. I talked to the guys at it was still Turbine at the time. Talked about creating a space where we could meet and everything. And that's how the Lore Hall came about there in Bree. And that was awesome. And so I was really excited about this. And then we kind of, it kind of grew, right? It became this sort of slightly more in-depth thing. As of course I realized by the time we hit chapter 2, really certainly chapter 3, I was sort of acknowledging the fact that, I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to do something like this again, to go through the Lord of the Rings. I've always wanted to do a detailed study of the Lord of the Rings, and here I am going through. So of course I've been going slower and slower and slower as we go along. I think we're going to be entering class 7 on chapter 7 next week. our 7. So we will spend 2 entire months in the house of Tom Bombadil.
Not a bad place to spend a couple months.
Exactly.
Great place.
Exactly. Could be worse.
Having a meeting in the house of Tom Bombadil.
Exactly. So I'm I've been just really loving this opportunity to go through the text in this kind of detail, and it's become this really wonderful thing, which of course I'm now looking forward to doing for many years to come. But I would love to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite moments in the book discussions that we've been having so far?
Finding that, having read the books for the first time as a wee child, many years ago. My birthday's next week. I'm really old. Actually, Corey, get off my lawn. I'm older than you are. Just all the stuff that I had read and then just like sunk into my brain, and it didn't mean what I thought it meant. So, and taking the close look at everything and just seeing how in depth Tolkien's thoughts were. I mean, when I was reading it when I was an 8-year-old, I didn't know, and reading it multiple times and then seeing the movies, and I really need to go back and read the books again. But I want to wait till you're done with the thing, but I don't think I have that many years left. Come on, Corey, 9th age. For those who don't know, I interviewed the staff of Standing Stone Games back in January, and I asked them how long was the game going to be around, because everybody wants to know. It's uncharted waters here. And Made of Lions, lead designer Jeff Libby, who wrote most of the Quest stuff for the past 10 years, we said, yeah, the game's going to be around, but we might be in the 9th age by the time you get done.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it is likely to be ninth age before before we finish with our discussions. Yeah, no, it's been really wonderful. There's so much, Gene, as you say, looking at the text carefully, the thing about reading really slowly, and really paying attention to things as we go along, not only do we, is it easier to kind of notice patterns, because you're not skipping over things, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can come away with, or you sort of build a picture in your head in one way, right? You can, maybe you didn't think about it really carefully the first time you read it, and then no matter how often you read it, you kind of replace what the text actually says with that thing that you've been carrying around in your head, right? And one of the only real sort of ways around that is, looking, just really forcing yourself to stop, get outside of your normal rhythm and look at the text really carefully. And that has been a really nifty experience. Brandon, how about you? What are some of your favorite book discussion moments?
I think for me, probably one of the ones was when somebody basically said, those galloping hooves in Frodo's dream are probably that could be Gandalf. Mm-hmm. Because like you, I'd always just assume, those are the ring wraiths, because that's what Frodo
That's what he says. Yeah.
Frodo says, it's the ring wraiths, it's them. But there's actually no real evidence that it's them.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that vaguely suggests it is Tolkien's use of the East. But in that part of the world, just saying something's from the East can mean a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean Mordor. If you're in Gondor, mm-hmm. the East means Mordor.
Right.
But if you're in, Tom Bombadil's house, there's a lot of things to the east of there. Technically, Rivendell's the east.
Bree, Rivendell. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that was one of those cool things. It's like, wow, I never ever thought of it that way. Like, I'd always thought, it's like Frodo's dream.
Yeah.
Horses have more than one hoof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, this is Frodo's interpretation. You gotta go with that.
I love that reading. That he's receiving what is essentially like an encouraging dream, right? Gandalf was captured. That's why he hasn't come back. He's escaped, and he's on his way, right? That's, one way to paraphrase that entire dream from one end to the next. Yeah. And yet he emerges from it, instead of being like, oh, phew, Gandalf is coming. He emerges from it saying, the Black Riders are coming for me, right? And you can see where his, where his mind is, right? And his own impulse of fear. And I really love that.
And he's the only one, if that's the correct interpretation, he's the only one that gets like a positive dream. The other ones are dreaming of the weird things that happen to them.
Right. And
then Tom Bombadil banishes it.
Right.
Tom Bombadil doesn't really banish this dream because it's supposed to be a good dream. Like, there's no indication that it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Both Merry and Pippin's dreams get kind of overridden by that memory of Goldberry or Tom's voice, right, telling them not to worry, and so they relax and go back to sleep. But yeah, that doesn't happen with Frodo, right? And that it does seem to fit that reading, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah, that's great. There are a couple.
Sam instinctively doesn't care. He's going to sleep like a log because he doesn't fear anything. He's not worried for his master. Yeah. So he instinctively is like, this is a good place. I don't have to be on guard.
That's right. Yeah. Sam is. Sam,
I like that.
Sam abides. No, it's great. That's and the connection between
Sam is the dude. Oh my God.
Sam is the dude. He is the dude, right? Yeah, exactly.
Jeff Bridges as Samwise Gamgee.
That could be interesting.
So no, Sam being the one who, just as he was the one who resisted Old Man Willow, seeing that similarity between his non-dreaming there, and his being the one who doesn't fall asleep around Old Man Willow. Yeah, Blue Wizard mentions enjoying analyzing the dream sequences. Of course, it's one of the reasons I asked a trivia question about the Crick Hollow dream, because that was the one when we spent an entire class on one paragraph. So, absolutely. And Tungle, oh yes, the conspiracy, right? How far back the conspiracy goes.
Yes, that's cool.
I think that might be, of course, my favorite moment, no question, is the Goldberry as a water lily thing, which has still kind of is still blowing my mind on an almost daily basis. But Tungle, a close second is the Sam's infenestration moment, and beginning to see when you look at that moment in chapter 2, and then we come back and think about it more in conjunction with what Sam says in The Conspiracy Unmasked. That theory, which I'm still not 100% convinced of, but I don't care because I really want to believe it. So I'm just gonna carry on. Of Sam's cunning all the way through, I think is really fun. That was really neat.
So you want to believe? Is that what you're saying?
I want to believe. Yeah, I want to believe that he was that he actually managed to snow Frodo and Gandalf both in that scene, and had them both going. I think there's plenty enough evidence to allow me to believe that. Right? Maybe not enough to convince everybody, but enough to allow me to believe it. So I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Of course, we have the other element of exploring the Lord of the Rings, right? Our in-game field trips and stuff afterwards. Yeah. What have been some of the the sort of the most interesting moments to you in our sort of tours and discussions afterwards?
So I come at it from a weird perspective in that I always come in through the Twitch channel. I don't have a Lotro account and probably can't really get one unless something changes anytime soon. It's just the way my current. Well, that's not the problem. The problem is I don't have the computer to run it on.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff through my iPad and stuff like that. So it's weird as a computer programmer to say that, but I just don't currently have the hardware to do it at the moment, and that's fine. So, but the Twitch channel allows me to go along with that and watch and see what's going on there. And one of the cool things for me is like going to these areas that honestly I hadn't really thought much about. So like the Northern Kingdom stuff.
Yeah.
Going to Illuminus and Evendim and that whole area where they've got all these big open pleasure palaces almost just sitting there. And the game is designed great because like you look and you, like you said, there's no thought for defense at this place.
Yeah.
Like nobody has, and it's completely indefensible. Like you look at the game map and at Tolkien's map, and Numinous is not a defensible position.
Yeah.
When they built it, they weren't meaning for it to be defended.
Yeah.
When they needed to defend their capital, they moved to Fornost because they needed somewhere to defend. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. That was a really neat way, like putting in the ruins the way that they did, I think really shows a lot of that story, even though you're not experiencing that story.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so, I mean, I find again and again, it is so thinking about the game world in conjunction with the text in those kind of big picture ways is so rewarding because it really pays off again and again. You can really see the thought behind that and the adaptation process. Yeah.
And of course, I think one of my favorite things was when we looked at that mural for the whole time.
Oh man, that is still my favorite moment. The panels at Tinadir. Oh
yeah, the Tinadir one.
The panels at Tinadir. That was the best. Oh my goodness. That was
suddenly cracked. Like, aha!
That was the most satisfying moment when we finally figured out what those panels must be.
But we never actually did find out if that's what the devs intended.
Oh, don't need to know. Don't need to know. It's all good.
Don't need to know?
No.
Okay.
I'm convinced. If they say it's something different, then I just try to convince them that they were wrong. Basically, that is how convinced I am by our interpretation of the panels there. Yeah, because they could have been mistaken, but it's clear what the answer is. Yeah, I think that's plain. So Lyrlin, remember they were the four Númenórean scenes, right? The Númenóreans coming and bringing gifts and showing agriculture to the people of Middle Earth, and then later on enslaving them and all that stuff. So that was the sort of the progression of the sort of the cautionary tale of the progression into moral degradation of the Númenóreans. Yeah. So good. So good. Oh man, that was so awesome. Just so satisfying, that interpretive moment. Fantastic.
It was nice that when you announced that you were going to be doing this, Standing Stone Games went out of their way to accommodate, and they built a space for you.
Yeah.
So that on every server you can go in and teach your class, and it can be used for other things.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a lot of it being used for other things, but the fact that they're willing to do that shows how the company values what Signum is doing for the game itself. I mean, you've got how many people watching, and just chilling, and we're just discussing the game and what we've done with the game and how it brings everything into full circle, because without the books we wouldn't have a game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've been really happy, grateful for my relationship with Standing Stone Games. They're such great people there, and I'm so happy to continue to encourage and support them, especially with the move from Turbine to Standing Stone, which I think is such an admirable thing for them to have done, and something I'm really behind. So I'm so grateful to them for the wonderful work that they've done in building Lotro. It is so it's still, I mean, as I have said many times, I find Lotro to be the best, most thoughtful adaptation of Tolkien's work in any medium I've ever seen. I've seen no film or anything, any form of adaptation that really compares with the work that they've done, both the creative work and the analytical work that they've done. It is just fantastic, and I love to talk about it. It gives such a rich field of discussion, and I'm looking forward not only to continuing to play Lotro, and hey, maybe I'll even make it to Mordor. Perhaps Wigan will make it to level cap someday. Druid's Fire, it just might happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Hey,
Wigan's
almost 95 now. I mean, that's like serious business right there.
You're almost ready for Gondor.
I know, right? I'm gonna try to get my goal, and we'll see if I can do it. But my goal is to get through Volume 3 of the Epic Quest line tonight. So
we'll see. I'll probably wind up stream bombing you from the other side.
Nice, good.
We're doing our own little thing on the official Lotro channel.
Yeah.
And 20 to hour 30. We killed our goal about an hour and a half ago.
Nice, congratulations. Yeah. So we have. Very good. That's excellent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm only on we're finishing hour 9 now, but
we'll be hour 30 once we get done.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent.
So many hours.
I know, but we have a team, so we just one Corey or 10 of us, so it kind of works out.
Yeah.
There you go.
At least it's not 14 hours in Moria. Don't ever do that again, please.
I'm telling you,
Your self-heal does not approve.
It is like a blur in my memory. Like I barely remember the middle of that. it was a long.
I remember it all.
Yes, last year's 14-hour Moria marathon. Yeah, exactly.
You said 8 o'clock. It's 10:30.
That was.
Hey, Corey, I want ice cream.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to explain what we're referring to. So during last year's campaign, I did a marathon with Grifflet, my hobbit who's been following the Epic Quest line, and my goal was, I said, hey, I'm going to set out and do, because I got him right up to Moria. So I was going to start at the west gate of Moria, and go all the way through to Dimrill Dale. So from the Watcher in the Water to Dimrill Dale in one day. In more or less one sitting. So that was and I made it. We got to Dimrill Dale, but it took 14 hours, which was my goal was to get through it in 8, and it took 14. So that was, that was
Watcher,
that was intense.
That's gonna be fascinating to discuss when we get there, because that's just that's such a weird creature for Tolkien.
Yes.
As I think about it now, it's almost like that thing belongs in Lovecraft.
It is a very interesting. Yes, absolutely. The Watcher in the Water is very interesting. I'm very very eager to talk. There's especially a couple lines that I'm thinking of that are going to be really interesting to work through. I am really delighted to be the way in which this sort of Lotro-based experience has kind of exploded into my like most in-depth, prolonged Tolkien series ever, essentially, which is what it's likely to end up being here, since we're going to be in chapter 9 after a year, essentially. We're not going to, we're not going to be anywhere because we started on Tolkien's birthday, January 3rd, this past year. So, anyway.
I tend to agree with Ed. I don't think we're having Christmas in Rivendell this year.
Christmas in Rivendell, definitely not happening. There's no way. There's no way. There are a whole bunch of chapters in between now and then. Are you kidding? It takes me 2 months on one chapter. So no, we might get out of the Barrows. We might get to Bree. I think there's a real chance of getting to Bree.
The Prancing Pony sounds like a fun date to me.
Why not? Right? Right.
Yeah.
That seems.
It's a place for revelry.
Exactly. That'll be just fine. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining me. It's been great being with you. Thank you for your help. Both of you have been, very much in regular attendees and very much involved. And of course, Druid's Fire, you're a big help on my Grifflet streams as well. Before Grifflet became so competent and OP, he used to need your help a lot. But nowadays,
I don't even half the time I don't even log in Curion anymore. I was actually leveling a tune to run with the cord open on his portion of the extra life thing, and it was fun.
Awesome.
We killed trolls.
Nice.
And then I trolled him because that's what I do.
I do have something just as a parting thing on the way out to remind us all that we have a schedule to keep here.
Yes.
What schedule? What?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I know.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to war today.
The orcs just seem so cheerful, though, when they're singing that song, which is so funny. But that's right. That's right.
Well, the voices do, but if you look at their face,
that's true. The facial expressions not so much, but the sound definitely.
I think my favorite one is the one I call the Star Trek orc, because his head comes off his head like the saucer section of the Starship Enterprise. They're such weird shapes. It's such a great.
Yeah, well, Rankin Bass. What can you do?
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks very much, guys, for joining me. It is time next. We're going to do another reading, and then we're going to do the State of the University address. So thank you two for joining me, and I'll see you guys around. Join us on Tuesday evenings for Exploring the Word of the Rings. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.